Hello everyone, I'm going to be doing a demonstration today of the Spira platform. The Spira platform consists of 3 different editions. It's the same product, but they come in 3 different flavors. Spira Test, Spira Team, and SpiraPlan, and they're different feature levels. And SpiraPlan is the full suite, which we offer to enterprise customers, and Spira Team and Spira Test are essentially cut-down versions that have some of the features removed for smaller teams or teams that work in specific areas of a project and don't need all the functionality. So I'll be looking at SpiraPlan today, but obviously there are some different editions as well. And just to give you a quick overview, the Spira family covers everything in the software lifecycle from idea management, requirements, project management, planning, tracking, and testing. And we'll show you how that all comes together. So SpiraPlan is designed to let organizations at scale manage a portfolio of different software applications that they are developing, testing, or deploying. And it lets business people understand what are all the different activities going on in the organization, and what's the value they're going to bring, what risks do they have to the organization, and are these particular capabilities that are coming onto the organization being delivered on time, behind schedule, and what are the risks to them? And then allows you to drill down to different levels. So first, you just introduce the system. In the main navigation bar, you'll see here we have an enterprise, and underneath our enterprise, we have 3 different levels. We have the portfolio level, for example, core services, financial services, life sciences. In a typical organization, these could be departments of the company or major business units. Under the portfolio level, we have a program, and then under the program, we have a product. And so a program would typically be a collection of different systems that work together, and a product will be an individual system. If we look in the corporate world, an ERP system might be a program, and the different modules like the financials module or the HR module might be an example of a product. And those would live under a program called, say ERP or main back office systems, and that could be in the division of IT, for example, that would be the program. So in Spira, we let you manage at these different levels. And one of the key ideas is having people work at these different levels without micromanagement. So if I go into the enterprise view, I can see right away what is the percentage complete of all my active pieces of work. So I can see that then across my different portfolios, my different programs and my products. And you can see here, we've got a nice chart where you can see these are all the different portfolios in my organization. I can expand them. I can drill down and see my programs and then my products. Under my products, I can even see key milestones. So it gives you a top-down view of what's going on across the entire organization. And that progress bar goes from left to right to show me what's my completion. I can also see what are my key risks across the organization to take action. And I can also see what is the progress of these different activities. And you can see here from the right-hand side, I can look at each of my individual portfolios, and my eye is naturally drawn to the ones that are in red. I can see this was way behind schedule. We've only completed 32% of the work in the active pieces of work in this portfolio. Yet we are 45 days overdue. And you can see this one here, the bottom one, not portfolio. Those are the ones that are not grouped into a portfolio. That's like the default one. Those are behind schedule but not overdue. And our financial services portfolio, that one is doing much better. That's actually on schedule. And so it's giving me a top-down view across the entire organization, but where my risks are, where my problems are. And naturally, I would drill down to one of these red portfolios to see what's going on. In this case, let me go ahead and do that. Let's look at the manufacturing program. So I could drill down over here and I can see, look at or even let's say look at life sciences portfolio. If I go to the dashboard at the portfolio level for life sciences, I can drill down and see my clinical trials and medical systems are both running late. I can drill down even further and look at a program view, a product view. So let me look at these clinical trials. If I go to the dashboard for clinical trials, you can see we've actually got multiple different pieces of work going on. We've actually got 5 different releases. 2 are not yet started. This first one is massively overdue, and that's what's driving the issue. The other 2 are actually either on track or behind schedule, but not overdue yet. And so I can now know from that top-down view, I can drill down and take action on that particular release. So from a planning and a management standpoint, I can go from a portfolio down to a program, down to a product, and see what's going on for the active pieces of work. I can also get more information on what's going on. So if I was to go, for example, to another product that I have, let's go to library information system, this would show me at that product level all the key information on a single pane of glass for that one particular product. I can see my risk cube. I can see all the risks in my particular product, and I can manage those risks. I can see the work that's going on. I can see what is the percentage complete. And if I look at my two active releases, I can see my first release is overdue, but my second release is actually only slightly behind schedule. So I know what action I would need to take, and I can see where the problem is. I can even drill my product level dashboard down to additional levels as well. I can go down to the release level or down to the sprint level. So if I look at a specific release, so that release one is behind schedule. So if I drill down to release one, I can actually see that in reality, it's sprint two in release one that's the problem. The other two sprints are in good shape. They're actually done. So you can drill down all the way down from the entire organization down to an individual team, an individual project to see what's going on and why is something behind schedule. And if you want to look at sprint two, we can then even dive into sprint two and see, do we have any late finishing tasks or late starting tasks, or look at the burn down or defects, what's driving that behavior? And we actually, for example, could go look at that by drilling down into the artifacts menu, and we can see the artifacts behind that and see what's behind schedule, what's on schedule. But the great thing with Spira is we have planning at all these different levels. You can track and plan at the portfolio level, the program level, and the product level. So let's start by looking at some of the planning that we have at the program level. We can take an individual program. Let's look at financial services and customer experience. Let's go to some good sample data. This is the dashboard. You can see again, we've got two different products under this. We've got mobile banking and web banking. We can plan at this level. So we can say we've got multiple different teams and multiple different products delivering capabilities that are going to roll up to provide a customer experience. Customer is king after all. So I can look at the customer experience and I can look at the capabilities. And these are our key capabilities that we want to define as a business. These are not user stories. These are not features. These are business capabilities. This is business value. And we have in the backlog here, we want to have a customer authentication and biometric support, things that will improve our customer experience, be able to do payment transfers and maybe managing payments. Let me click on this one here that's partially complete under payments. So I can see that this one business capability to improve payment transfers is actually going to span two of my different teams. My mobile banking team, they have to add the functionality into their product that will support making transfers of two different accounts. They've actually done that already. They also have to be able to do a future scheduled transfer. That is not yet been done. And the third one is on my web banking portal. We have to be able to transfer to external accounts. Until these three different features in these different products, two different products, are all done, this business capability is not available. So when I'm planning on this new piece of capability coming out, that we're going to improve customer experience by having the best third-party transfer system in the banking industry, I promised my boss we're going to do it by a certain delivery date, which we call a milestone. And that milestone might be the end of Q1, the end of Q2. We can track the dates for those in the milestone view right over here. I want to know, am I going to make that? So in this case, I can see that I'm actually well behind schedule on my interbank connectivity milestone and my security and access management milestone. I'm 50% done, and that's also behind schedule as well. So in the real world, if I saw this, I would worry, why are my milestones not on track? Which capabilities are behind schedule? So you can track those particular capabilities against these milestones and see what is the progress. Now, the other thing we can do is, as well as seeing the capabilities here in this view, we can also see them in the board view. And in the board view, we move the helpful tooltip, you can see our capabilities. You can track the progress of the capabilities. The capabilities, managing transfers, doing biometric work, that shows you the progress, and they're all actually in the progress status of the high-level business value. But what if I want to see the individual teams? Now, I can see that on the previous view. The great is on this board, I can do the same thing. I can look to the board, and I can add in, show me the additional information. So I go here and say, show me my progress, show me my requirements, and I think that's, yeah, maybe the position, priority as well. That'd be really helpful. So I can now see that actually managing the payment to third parties, the capability is in progress, but if I hover the mouse over it, it's 2/3 done. And I can see that of the three different product features that we're waiting on, 2 are done, 1 is missing. So that way I can see behind the program level data, what's going on at the individual product level. So SpiraPlan lets you manage programs and portfolios, but drill down to the backlog and the progress of the individual products. Now, what we don't want is a program manager or a CFO or CTO looking at every product in the entire company and filtering for late tasks. This is the tendency people have from a micromanagement standpoint. They'll want to go into the product backlog and say, show me every product, show me every task that every developer or tester or business analyst is working on and who's late. Well, they should be figuring out, this is my number one priority. How do we get this one requirement over the line quickly? And maybe I need to deprioritize some of these other capabilities that are less important because this has the red circle. It's a high priority capability for the business. These ones, the biometrics and the other types of capability we promised, these are lower down. And so, as you can see, this one has got 50% done. We've got 2 requirements done, 2 yet not done. So there's work obviously ongoing with these 2. Why don't we go reorder those products and actually figure out how we slow those down and reprioritize the work? So it's about having good decision making, about aligning that with your strategic priorities, as opposed to just generating a giant task list. So that's how SpiraPlan helps managers at the highest level understand what's going on in the organization and take corrective action. Now, when we go down to one of these teams, and I'll go back down to my sample I was in before, at the team level, there's lots of great information in the system to help the teams themselves manage and organize more effectively. This is their dashboard, and it's a single pane of glass that covers everything from the risks on the project. We've seen already the progress completion, but behind that progress completion of each of the different releases they're working on, we can see some key metrics at the delivery level. We can see their test coverage, what tests are running, manual tests, automated tests. We can see what pipeline builds are running. We can see the burn down of the different requirements and the different user stories. We can see the tasks. What's the burn down of the tasks? We can also see, are there any defects that are open? We actually have a lot of defects that are open in our backlogs. So that's obviously technical debt we have to deal with. So it gives you a great quality view of the entire project for the teams. Now, within SpiraPlan, we also have support for all of this with these data elements behind the scenes. This is what makes this information come alive. So in Spira, if we were to drill down, let's start at the requirements page. These are the requirements for my one system. These are being used to fuel those business level capabilities I showed you earlier on. But at the team level, I've got the ability to manage my backlog. You can do all the planning in Spira. This is the hierarchical view of my backlog. I've also got the ability to see a traditional or typical, I should say, Scrum or Kanban board. So you can manage agile products really effectively. It's got full backlog management. It supports Scrum, Kanban. It's got work in progress limits. It's a fully featured planning tool. Of course, the different story cards, you can see important metrics like the tests and the development tasks. If I wanted to see those, I can enable them just like I showed you on the other board. By enabling those as well, I can now see requirements and I can see tasks. If I go to my release backlog, I can see a bit more information. Here's a good example. These are some tasks. These are some stories and requirements that are planned. You can see the task coverage right here on the card, the task progress. Task progress is typically development tasks, creating some functionality, maybe it's some deployment tasks, anything that has to be done for this one user story to be completed and pushed into production, and any testing activities which need to be done, which may not have been done. These could be manual tests, automated performance, security, those kinds of things that have to get done for this story to make its way along the board. So SpiraPlan gives you this great view across the life cycle. We also do have some other nice views where you can see all of your requirements and functionality in a document view. And there's also some graphs and charts which lets you see the traceability and the links between all of the different pieces of work in your backlog. But if we go back to let's say we go back to the board view, if I was to get more information on any one of these requirements, I can click on it and I can either click up on it inline, or I can drill down to go to the full screen view. And this full screen view now shows me all of the dependent artifacts for this one feature. So we've got this one feature we're going to be building. We can see right here at a glance all of the test cases that go with it. Has it been tested? Who's tested it? Was it tested by automated tests? Was it tested by an exploratory test, etc.? You can track the development tasks. Are they on schedule? Are they behind schedule? Are we spending more time than we planned? Are our estimates accurate? You can track the history of any changes. And the traceability view will let us connect into the DevOps pipelines, and you can see right away what were the actions that have been taken on implementing this new feature. We can see right here on the build screen, if I control click, you can see the build. You can see in this one individual code commit what were the actions we took, what were the tasks we completed, what were the requirements we implemented, giving you traceability from these code commits all the way through to the work items that are being implemented in this project. So why do we commit code? Well, it was to implement this task. It was to complete this requirement. It was to fix this bug. And that works in both directions. You can see from every line of code that's changed why we changed it. And you can see from every requirement or defect or project management task, what were the code commits that were done by developers to instantiate and implement that feature. And that's really important. If you drill down, we even have the ability to see all of the files that were changed in that commit, and we can even show you the code level changes right here inline as well. So giving you the ability to say, we changed this code, it went into that release, it was pushed into production. Why did we do it? What was the business value it delivered? Well, it implemented this feature, and that feature rolls all the way up the top back to our initial reporting. So what SpiraPlan is really offering you is that amazing traceability, both horizontally and vertically. Horizontally, because it lets the person who's working on the requirements and defining the functionality, for example, the product owner who works with the customer, to be able to see exactly the thread of every single action that's been taken on that one feature. Was it developed? Was it designed? Did we have a code review? Has it met all our compliance checks? It's gone into production. Are we confident it's going to deliver the functionality that was intended? And then vertical traceability, which is that one feature is part of a business plan which our company cares about because it's going to deliver a new business capability to the marketing department or the customer experience department or the online banking division. And they don't care about this feature. What they care about is their entire capability being delivered when they said it was going to be delivered, and having the flexibility to reorganize the backlogs to make sure you don't miss that date. So that's kind of the overview of SpiraPlan from top to bottom and from left to right, basically giving you that functionality. There's a lot of great functionality around reporting and dashboards and graphs and charts and analytics. There's a lot of really rich data behind everything. But just to give you a sense of what it can do, it really lets you manage an entire organization's software development lifecycle, application lifecycle, both vertically and horizontally.